The Galactic Hall of Judgment was the largest courtroom in the universe. It floated near the center of the galaxy, built from silver stones mined from dead stars. Inside, more than 500 alien species gathered, each one sitting in silence. Every race, every leader, every voice had come to decide one thing: the fate of Earth. Giant screens hung above, showing the blue planet in real time. Earth looked calm, peaceful, but none of the alien leaders felt calm. They had waited years for this moment, the moment to pass judgment on humanity. In the center of the hall stood the High Speaker of the Council, a tall, thin creature with glowing eyes and skin like cracked glass. His voice echoed through every corner of the room. Today, we vote on the most dangerous species ever born. Humans. You have all seen their wars, their weapons, their greed. They burn worlds. They break rules. They grow faster than any species ever known. Now we must decide. Do they live, or do they burn? Whispers filled the air. The Trellkar Emperor, covered in thick armor, slammed his fist down. They are monsters. They destroy our colony on Velis IV without warning. A snake-like creature, the Zixth ambassador, hissed. They refuse to share technology. They do not respect the council. Even the peaceful Vorani, known for kindness, spoke with fear. Their emotions are wild. Love one moment, rage the next. They cannot be trusted. One by one, every alien species told stories of fear, betrayal, and danger. Stories of humans doing the impossible, both beautiful and terrifying. And Earth. Earth sent no one to defend itself. No ambassador. No message. Nothing. The silence made the council nervous. They mock us, the High Speaker growled. They think they are above judgment. Let us vote. A glowing screen rose above the hall. One by one, each species gave their vote. Guilty. 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 Again and again, the same word echoed. Until the final vote. The High Speaker looked around the room. The vote is clear. Earth is guilty. The sentence: complete sterilization. Their planet will be wiped clean. Nothing human will survive. Applause. Cheers. Some clapped in relief, others in joy. The council finally had peace, or so they thought. Ships were already moving. A powerful extermination fleet was heading for Earth. Thousands of warships from every empire. Their job was simple: erase humanity. Just as the council started to leave, a loud alarm filled the hall. Incoming transmission. The screen flickered. An image appeared. A dark room filled with shadows. In the center stood a human figure. Only his eyes were visible, cold and calm. He spoke one sentence: "You made your choice. Now watch what happens." Then, silence. No signal. No trace of the source. The transmission vanished. A moment later, another screen lit up, showing the extermination fleet moving through Earth's solar system. And then, something impossible happened. The lead ship stopped. All systems failed at once. Then the ship broke apart, as if something had sliced it open from inside. No explosion. No warning. The next 5 ships were hit within seconds. No enemy was seen. No weapon was detected. The fleet began to panic. What is this? Where is the attack coming from? We see nothing. Repeat, nothing. On radar. And then the screen went dark. The council chamber was filled with fear. The High Speaker shouted, "What just happened? Who is attacking our fleet?" A single word appeared on the main screen. Warning. The alien leaders stared at each other. Who sent that message? How did they do it? And most of all, where was humanity? Had Earth been silent because it was afraid? Or was it waiting? Deep in space, just outside Earth's solar system, the stars stood still. The great extermination fleet had been moving fast, ready to destroy Earth. But now, 20 ships were gone. No wreckage. No survivors. No sign of an enemy. And then, something even stranger happened. A ship appeared. Not on radar, not on scanners. It simply appeared. It was large, twice the size of a dreadnought, but it made no sound. Its body was smooth and black, as if made from the night itself. No lights, no windows, no name. It looked like a shadow given form. Inside the council war room, panic spread. What is that ship? It's not one of ours. It doesn't match any records. The high speaker shouted, "Zoom in. Show me a symbol, a name, anything." But there was nothing. No markings, no identification. Then the unknown ship sent a signal. Every screen in the galaxy turned black. One line of text appeared in bright red. "You judged us without knowing what we were hiding." A second later, the ship moved, and the galaxy saw something it would never forget. The ship didn't fire any weapons. Instead, it hacked the systems of the alien fleet. In less than 10 seconds, shields dropped, engines shut down. Gravity was reversed inside the ships. Soldiers were pulled into the walls. Screams echoed through open channels. The fleet tried to fight back, but nothing worked. Their weapons systems were dead. Their ships began to spin out of control. The unknown ship glided between the chaos like a ghost. Then it vanished. No jump signal, no engine trail, just gone. The council fell silent. What kind of ship was that? A Kilari general asked, his voice shaking. No one answered. On the far end of the galaxy, Admiral Voles of the Varn Empire stood up slowly. "That was human," he whispered. "It had to be." "But humanity never built ships like that," another replied. "It's not possible." Admiral Voles looked down at the wreckage reports. Maybe that's what they wanted us to think. In the ruins of the destroyed fleet, only one alien commander survived. His ship had barely escaped. Now he floated near Jupiter's orbit, his body injured, his systems broken. He stared at the stars and whispered, "This wasn't war. This was a message." Suddenly, a small human probe appeared beside his escape pod. The probe played a simple video, just one image. A human child holding a model of Earth and crushing it in their hands. The message was clear. Humanity had returned, and it had changed. Back in the council hall, leaders from dozens of species argued in fear. "We must prepare for war." "No, we must ask for peace." They were silent for years. What if they were planning this all along? The high speaker raised his voice. "We must know the truth. Where is Earth? What are they hiding? Why didn't they defend themselves at the trial?" But someone else knew the answer. An old alien historian, watching quietly, stood and said, "You all made a mistake. You didn't fear what humans were. You feared what they might become. And now, that fear is real." All screens in the council hall turned black again. A voice, human, deep, and calm, spoke to them all. "You wanted to erase us. You thought we would beg. Instead, we waited. And now, we choose what happens next." The galaxy, for the first time in centuries, stood still. Not from peace, but from fear. Far away from the stars and council halls, hidden behind dark energy fields and false coordinates, Earth was still alive. Not silent, not weak, just watching, waiting, preparing. On Earth, deep under old mountain ranges, humans had built something secret over the last 100 years. A project so hidden, not even Earth's allies knew about it. They called it Project Lazarus. The world believed Earth had fallen behind in technology, that humans were slow, that they were too emotional, too divided. But that was the lie. Project Lazarus was not just a weapon. It was a trap built for one purpose: to test the galaxy. If the universe accepted peace, Project Lazarus would never be used. But if the Council ever turned against Earth, if they ever crossed the line, it would be activated. And now it had begun. In a command bunker deep below the Alps, General Ilara Raines stood before a large screen. Her face was calm, but her voice was ice. The extermination fleet failed. The Council has declared war. Phase 2 is ready, awaiting your order. Beside her stood an old man in a gray coat. His eyes were tired, but sharp. President Leon Marsh of Earth. He gave a slow nod. No attack on Earth will be answered with silence again. Begin Phase 2. Show them what humans built in the dark. Minutes later, thousands of hidden satellites powered up. Across every Council planet, secret human listening posts activated. From inside stars, behind moons, inside dust clouds, they rose, and they began to broadcast. Not weapons, not threats. Truth. Leaked files, secret documents, messages intercepted over decades. Earth shared everything. Every dirty deal a Council made. Every planet stolen. Every species silenced. Every crime they covered up. The truth hit like a supernova. Council citizens began to riot. Protests broke out. Empires turned against their leaders. A wave of chaos spread, and Earth just watched. But Earth had not stopped preparing. Back under the mountains, Project Lazarus unlocked its second level. A fleet, not made of metal. Made of blacklight alloy, a material no alien species could scan or understand. Ships that could change shape, adapt to any energy, and vanish in space. 50 of them had been built in secret. They were not warships. They were judgment ships, each one designed to take down entire fleets without killing. They didn't destroy cities. They disarmed them. They didn't crush empires. They revealed them. Each ship carried one rule: show mercy, but never forget. Back at the Council Hall, panic had become fear. Messages poured in from across the galaxy. Riots, uprisings, betrayals. Council fleets were being boarded by ships no one could see coming. We underestimated them, one admiral whispered. They were never behind, said another. They just hid their true strength. The High Speaker slammed his hands on the table. We are the Council. We cannot bow to a single world. But his words sounded weak now, because Earth had not just defended itself. It had flipped the galaxy upside down. Then came the final blow. A message broadcast across every screen in every language. A video of Council leaders, years ago, laughing as they planned Earth's destruction. Their voices clear, their words cold. It was all recorded by humans. And now, it was public. The galaxy didn't just fear humans anymore. Now, they trusted them more than the Council. President Marsh watched the stars from the safety of Earth's shield dome. A young officer stepped beside him. Sir, should we finish them? Strike now. Marsh shook his head. No, that's what they would have done. Let them feel their own system collapse. He turned and walked away. This was never about revenge. It was about truth. And high above Earth, the sky opened once more. The ship with no name returned. Watching, waiting, judging. The Galactic Council, once feared across the stars, was now falling apart. The Great Chamber, once filled with order and pride, now echoed with chaos. Leaders shouted, screens blinked red, emergency lights flashed nonstop. The room that once controlled the galaxy had lost control. The secrets Earth exposed had spread like fire. Billions of citizens on thousands of planets now knew the truth, how their leaders had lied, stolen, and betrayed. Protests turned into revolts. Council buildings were burned. Statues were torn down. And behind it all, one word kept rising from the ashes. Earth. On the rocky world of Vossen, a peaceful protest turned violent when security forces opened fire. But this time, the people fought back. They didn't run. They stood and shouted. Humanity warned you. Earth showed us the truth. You lied to us. Similar scenes played out across the stars. The fear of humans had changed into something worse. For the Council, hope, People now saw Earth not as a threat, but as a symbol of justice. Earth had been silent for decades, building in the shadows, and when it finally spoke, it didn't destroy planets. It exposed the real monsters. Back in the council chamber, the High Speaker stood trembling. This is treason," he screamed. "Earth is destroying galactic order." But one voice replied coldly, from the shadows behind the chamber. "No. Earth is removing your order. That's not the same." It was Admiral Voles of the Varn Empire. He had once led battles against Earth. Now he stood with folded arms, looking tired but focused. "The people are awake now," Voss said. "You can't silence truth anymore. Earth didn't destroy us. You did." Several species representatives began removing their council badges. The chamber filled with shock as the alliances began to crumble in real time. The Drox, the Kilari, the Uto, all walked out, one after another. On Earth, General Ilara Rains watched the news feeds from a massive war room under the Alps. Everything was happening faster than expected. "They're turning on each other," her assistant said. "Council command fleets are splitting. Some are surrendering. Others are refusing to fight." "Good," Ilara replied calmly. "That means it's time for Phase 3. A nearby console lit up. Coordinates appeared across the screen. "Is the Judgment Fleet ready?" "Yes, General. All 50 ships are in position." Ilara nodded. "Then it's time to show them what true judgment looks like." Across 10 major council worlds, the sky opened without warning. One by one, Earth's black judgment ships appeared, silent, still, untouchable. No weapons fired. Instead, they disabled orbital weapons, shut down communication systems, turned off defense grids. They didn't destroy cities. They shut them down. Cleanly. Perfectly. And on every world, they left a message on every screen. "We could destroy, but we choose to judge. Give power back to your people, or lose it forever." It wasn't a war. It was a reset. In the shadows of the crumbling council, a small group of surviving leaders tried to plan a counterattack. "We still have the Black Sun Armada," one growled. "It's hidden, untouchable." But before they could give the order, their screens turned black again. This time, the voice was clearer than ever. It was a human, a woman, calm and steady. "We know about the Black Sun. We know every secret base. We know because we've been watching you, longer than you've been watching us." The leaders looked at each other in terror. The woman continued, "You were right to fear what humanity might become. But now, it's not fear you need to worry about. It's judgment." High above Earth, the nameless ship still floated, watching. Its surface shimmered like water, shifting as if alive. Inside, no one spoke. No crew, just AI and silence. But its signal had one purpose: to let the galaxy know. Humanity now held the power, and they were not giving it back. Not yet. The galaxy was falling apart. The Galactic Council had crumbled. Its power, once absolute, had been stripped away, piece by piece. The truth of Earth's strength and secrets spread like wildfire, burning away the lies that had kept the galaxy in check for centuries. But now the question wasn't if Earth would strike. It was how far humanity would go. Back on Earth, President Leon Marsh sat in a quiet room, the weight of decisions pressing down on his shoulders. The screens in front of him flashed with information. Planetary uprisings, entire fleets disbanding, others fighting against their own leaders. A voice echoed through the speakers. "Mr. President," General Ilara Rains said, her voice steady, "Phase 3 is complete. The ships are in position. We have the galaxy on its knees. It's time to make a choice." Marsh stared at the screens, his face unreadable. He had known this moment was coming. The question of whether to destroy the Council or rebuild it with Earth at the center. The power was in their hands. But would they use it, or would they show mercy? Above Earth, the Judgment Fleet still floated in silence, its ships unmoving in space, like watchers in the dark. Earth's advanced technology could easily wipe out the remaining Council strongholds. They could burn entire systems to the ground. But that was never the goal. Humanity wasn't here to destroy. They had already shown the galaxy that they could take power when they wanted. No, the true test was something different. Could Earth forgive? Across the galaxy, fear had settled into every heart. The rebellion had spread beyond just protests. It was now open war. But Earth had not struck. Instead, their ships hovered. Their messages remained clear. We could destroy, but we choose not to. We could break the galaxy, but we choose to heal it. Some rebel fleets were beginning to listen. The question on their minds was clear. Would Earth forgive the sins of the galaxy, or would they demand justice for the years of oppression and lies? In the Council's former headquarters, High Speaker Coven knelt before the massive screen in his private chambers. His hands trembled, and his breath was heavy. He knew that Earth had the power to destroy them all. Every last Council representative could be erased in an instant. The humans had made their point. They had already proven they could bring chaos. But now, Earth was asking for something more. The choice to forgive. Coven knew the Council could not answer that question alone. They needed to unite. They needed to fight. If they wanted to survive, they would have to fight back. But how? The room grew silent as the High Speaker raised his head. We will not bend. Not yet. Humanity's mercy is not a gift we will accept. On Earth, the decision was made. President Marsh stood in the war room, surrounded by his advisors. "This is the moment we've waited for," he said, looking out at the darkened sky. "The galaxy wants us to lead. We will not use force unless it is the last choice. We will offer them the choice." With a simple command, Earth sent out a final message across every screen, every corner of the galaxy. The words were clear, simple. Galactic Council and all species of the galaxy. You have one choice. Join us. Help us rebuild what we have broken, or resist, and face the consequences of your actions. The message sent ripples through the galaxy. It wasn't a demand. It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation. The galaxy's many species now had to decide. Would they join Earth in building a better future, or would they reject humanity's hand of mercy and continue the war? The universe was watching. And in the silence that followed, there was only one question left. Would they listen? On Earth, General Ilara Raines stood by a window, watching as the last of the Judgment Fleet ships disappeared into the dark abyss of space. A sense of finality hung in the air. There would be no more messages, no more speeches, no more negotiations. The decision was now in the galaxy's hands. Humanity had done all it could. The galaxy was still. The message had been sent. The choice was clear. Yet the silence that followed was unbearable. Would they accept humanity's offer, or would they fight to the bitter end? Back on Earth, President Leon Marsh paced back and forth. The news feeds were filled with stories of chaos. Some systems were rebelling. Others were surrendering. Many of the Council's former allies had fallen silent. The waiting had begun. What would the galaxy decide? Far across the stars, on a warship of the Varn Empire, Admiral Vos watched the message from Earth for the 100th time. His fingers gripped the edge of the table as the words flashed on the screen. Join us. Help us rebuild what we have broken, or resist and face the consequences of your actions. The words were not a threat, but a plea. The humans had offered peace. Now it was up to them. "Admiral, we've received new intelligence," one of his officers said, stepping forward. Voss turned sharply. "What is it?" "It's the Council," the officer continued. "They're preparing for one final strike. They've gathered the last of their fleets. They're not listening to Earth." Voss closed his eyes for a moment, processing the information. He had expected this. The Council couldn't accept defeat. They wouldn't bend. "I've been watching humanity for a long time," Voss said quietly. And I know one thing. When they offer mercy, they mean it. They won't strike unless we force their hand. Back on Earth, General Ilara Raines sat in a dark room, watching the holographic map of the galaxy. The Judgment Fleet remained in place, ready for whatever came next. But it wasn't just about strength anymore. It was about choice. Would the galaxy understand? Would they see humanity's mercy for what it was? Or would they turn away and drag the galaxy into an endless war? A voice broke the silence. General, one of her aides called out, the Varn Empire has sent a response. Ilara stood, her eyes narrowing. What did they say? The Varn have offered a ceasefire, the aide replied. They want to negotiate with Earth directly. A moment of shock passed over Ilara's face. She hadn't expected this. But at the same time, it was clear. The galaxy was on the edge of choosing. This is the first step, she said. Get me the coordinates. We're meeting them in the neutral zone. In the neutral zone, in the vast expanse between Earth and the remnants of the Galactic Council, two ships came face to face. One was the flagship of the Varn Empire, sleek and dark, with weapons ready but silent. The other was a human vessel, silent and unarmed. Admiral Voss stood at the bridge of his ship, his gaze fixed on the distant human ship. His heart was heavy. He had never seen the Varn Empire so close to surrender. Open communications, he ordered. A holographic screen flickered to life in front of him. On the other side stood General Ilara Raines, her face serious but calm. We have come to discuss the future of the galaxy, Ilara said, her voice unwavering. Voss nodded slowly. We are ready to listen. Earth's offer, it's not what we expected, but it may be our only chance. The conversation continued, but Voss could feel the weight of history pressing down on them both. This was not just a meeting between two empires. It was the moment that would decide the fate of millions. Back on Earth, President Marsh watched the news feed, his face reflecting the uncertainty of the moment. He knew that this negotiation could change everything. The galaxy's future hung in the balance. But deep down, he also knew that the humans had already won. They had shown mercy. They had given the galaxy a choice. Now, if the galaxy rejected that choice, it was not Earth's fault. Back in the neutral zone, the Varn and Earth leaders continued to talk. Slowly, one by one, more species came forward to discuss peace. The Kilari and the Uto arrived, their ships hovering beside the human and Varn vessels. It was clear now. The galaxy was coming together. The seeds of rebellion were being replaced by the hope of peace. But not everyone was ready to accept it. On the other side of the galaxy, in the last stronghold of the Galactic Council, High Speaker Coven stood alone in his chamber, his hands trembling as he watched the news. They were giving up. The galaxy was turning its back on the Council. Coven had one last choice to make. Would he stand against humanity, or would he accept the offer for peace? The galaxy held its breath. Earth had offered peace. Many had accepted, but not all. One final answer remained. One last voice had to speak. The Galactic Council. High Speaker Coven stood before his advisors, his face pale, his eyes filled with pride and fear. For centuries, the Council had ruled. For centuries, they had crushed worlds that disobeyed. But now, the galaxy was no longer afraid of them. It feared Earth. And that fear had turned into something more dangerous: respect. Most Council members have left us, whispered Advisor Jorvik. They'd follow Earth now. Even our fleets are defecting. Coven stared at the screen. He saw images of alien fleets flying beside human warships. He saw peace talks, rebuilding stations, shared technology. We cannot accept this, Coven growled. Humanity must be punished. But punished for what? Jorvik asked. For surviving. For rising after we all tried to destroy them. They showed mercy, High Speaker, more than we ever did. Coven's voice cracked with anger. They made us kneel. No, Jorvik said. They gave us a choice. and the galaxy has made its decision. Far from the council chamber, in orbit above a neutral planet, General Ilara Raines waited. She stood on the bridge of the UNS horizon, watching the starfield. One final message from the council was expected. One answer. That was all. President Leon Marsh appeared on the main screen. Still no word from the council, he asked. Ilara shook her head. Nothing yet, but their power is gone. The others have joined us, even the Varn. Marsh gave a small smile. Then maybe this war really is over. Ilara sighed. If the council accepts peace, yes. If not, her voice trailed off. They both knew what came next. On the other side of the galaxy, Coven prepared a transmission. His hands trembled as he activated the console. "This is High Speaker Coven of the Galactic Council," he said, his voice cold. "Earth's mercy is a trick. They only want control. They'd wear peace like a mask, but behind it is conquest. We will not kneel." The message was broadcast across every star system. Silence followed. Then, something unexpected. A reply came. But not from Earth. It came from the Varn Admiral Volth. His face appeared on every screen across the galaxy. "This is Admiral Voss. For centuries, we followed the Council. We destroyed worlds in their name. But now we see the truth. Earth does not ask for loyalty. It offers something more powerful. Hope, unity, future. The Council wants war. Earth offers peace, and the galaxy has chosen Earth." Other voices followed. Leaders from many species spoke out. "We stand with Earth. We choose the future, not the past. Let the age of the Council end. Let the new age begin with humanity." On Earth, people watched in silence. The war, the judgment, the anger, all of it had led to this moment. Earth had been condemned, and now it had become the center of a new galaxy. Back in the council chamber, Coven fell to his knees. One by one, the lights on his control board went dark. One by one, the systems disconnected. The council was no more. He had lost. General Ilara Raines received the final report. "The council's systems have shut down," the aide said. "Their last ships have surrendered. It's over." Ilara didn't cheer. She didn't smile. She simply nodded. "We never wanted to rule," she said. "We just wanted to survive." Weeks later, in a great hall built on a neutral world, leaders from over 50 species stood together. President Leon Marsh stood at the front, beside former enemies and new allies. "We were judged," he said to the crowd. "We were hated, feared, attacked. But we didn't destroy the galaxy. We gave it a choice. And now we build a new one. Together." Applause echoed across the chamber, not just from humans, but from the Varn, the Kilari, the Uto, and many others. Enemies yesterday, allies today, and friends tomorrow. As the galaxy moved into a new age, one truth remained clear. Humanity had been condemned, but it was now the galaxy's last hope. And Earth, the once judged world, now held the stars in its hands. The end.